7:30, we'll call the meeting to order. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have a roll call.
There are 20 supervisors present. Supervisors Belsky and O'Day are excused. Supervisor Nedweski is absent.
Okay, also present are some in governance. I hope I don't kill their name. Exa Quadri from PDAC, and Price from the executive, Patrick Sterling from the legislative, and Alec Shiraz from the executive. Okay, at this time, let's have a moment of silence in memory of Carolyn Paul. Okay. Citizen comments. Any citizen wish to speak? Please state your name and address.
Hi there, I'm Todd Hauser. I'm from Uptown, 6622 24th Avenue. I'm in District 8 here in Kenosha. I'm here representing CAMBA, the Kenosha Area Mountain Bike Association. A lot has happened in the woods in the Petrifying Springs / Parkside lease agreement area since we were last in. We rented a mini excavator, and by using that and lots and lots of volunteer man hours, there are probably now 2 trails that are ready to be opened once it makes its way through county parks experts and a couple layers of signing off there. So if you want to think of mountain bike trails in the same way that we think of ski hill trails, green trails are the easy trails, blue a little bit harder, and black should be left for the experts, right? So these next 2 trails that'll be opening up will probably add up to about an extra mile of mountain bike trails in there. They are on the blue and the blue to black and all the way to black end of the spectrum. So as we've been out in the woods, me less than others because I don't work as hard as the others. I have the work ethic of a lottery winner. So, but when we're out there talking to people, they ask us a couple questions, and I thought maybe that you all would be getting some of the same questions or statements. So just have a little list here that I want to go through, and some of the things that we talk about when we talk about the mountain bike trails in the agreement area. So the first thing that usually comes up is on the newest blue-black trail that we've made. It features larger actual mountain biking features called tables. You ride up one side, you can ride across the top, you can ride down the other side. So usually when people who are unfamiliar show up, they think, oh my God, this is huge and dangerous, and aren't people gonna get hurt? Well, maybe, but probably not. So there's 3 things when it comes to the big mountain bike features that you're gonna see out there in the area, is that it looks a lot worse when you're on foot. So it's going to look bad to hikers, but I promise you it's a lot easier for bikers. If you're standing next to something and it looks like a big jump because you're standing next to it, it's probably going to be okay when you're on a bike. Almost all of our features feature a ride around. So if you get to a feature and it does look too much for you, then you can always just ride alongside of it, not do the feature, and you're just riding in the woods. It's no big deal. But the third, and maybe the most important feature about the big features that we're putting out here on these blue and black lines is progress and progression. In mountain biking, we are always talking about progression. All of our green trails are sort of on the south side-ish, sort of at that new trailhead on JR uphill from the beer garden. All of those are green trails. There's maybe a blue trail if you get far enough back into Parkside. Those are all of the easy side. But when you get across the river onto the north side of the river, it's going to be more difficult. So a rider would start on one side, move their way to the other side. So you're going to have the skills to do those features long before you actually get to those features. And I'm running short on time, so I'm going to cut off the last one. But just thinking of progression and being able to bring kids through is kind of the big plan there. So when I'm talking about these things, I'm thinking about the kids and the generations who will be able to use these in the future, because we have a humongous NICA team. I think they have well over 100 riders. NICA is a high school mountain bike varsity. You can letter in mountain biking. So we've got tons and tons of kids in Kenosha County that are looking to be mountain biking, and this is going to give them that sort of help. The second one is, well, you better not get rid of, and then they insert their favorite trail that they probably built illegally out there somewhere. But I want to say that it's not up to us which trails get decommissioned and which trails get to stay. There are levels and levels of experts way above us who've deemed the trails unsustainable. And if you need, the proof is in the pudding. There are trails on the north side of Highway A, colloquially known as the bridle trails. They've been
You have
around
10
forever.
seconds left.
They're also washing out, and they look terrible for the environment. We've already replaced them with new hiking trails and biking trails. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? Please state your name and address.
Veronica King, 5518 34th Avenue, Kenosha. I was unable to attend the August 2nd county board meeting because I was in Boston at an NAACP convention. But I wanted to bring to your attention that on July 20th, a news reporter from TMJ4 out of Milwaukee went to cover the Country Thunder event, and while she was there, she was called the N-word twice by some unknown gentleman. And this is of concern to the NAACP as well as many others, that a news reporter can come to our county to cover a story in our county and get called the N-word. And in her statement, she stated that the comment was unprovoked and no one helped. Everyone stared at me and laughed. So where were our deputies when this incident happened? And if we want to attract, recruit, hire, and retain minority professionals in this community, how are we to do that if people are being disrespected when they come to our community? I mean, law enforcement is trying to recruit minority law enforcement officers, black nurses, social workers, teachers, journalists. And when we come and visit our county, this is what we get subjected to. So my question is, has a letter of apology been written to this reporter, signed by our county board, signed by the individuals that promote County Thunder, signed by our county exec, to say we don't condone that kind of behavior here in our county? So if we can't go to County Thunder, we can't go to Applebee's, am I safe going to the county fair? Where can I go other than to drive up a McDonald's or somewhere where I'm safe in my car? Or a county board meeting? So my recommendation is that the county exec and all you county board supervisors prepare a letter to Channel 4 apologizing for this event so that this reporter can at least see that county government didn't appreciate what happened to her. And to the sheriff's department, where were the deputies when this happened? Why wasn't he given a ticket, disorderly conduct ticket? Or a state charge for disorderly conduct? Let the DA's office decide if it's going to be a ticket or a charge. That's how you stop this kind of behavior. But again, if we want to attract, recruit, hire, and retain professional minorities in this community, we have to stop this kind of behavior. And Joe Pass, who's the president of WTMJ, his quote was, "We need to do better." And I think it starts with Kenosha County. And no citizen should go to an event, a public event, and be subjected to these kind of statements and harassment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? Any other citizen comments? Any other citizen comments? Seeing none, citizen comments are closed. Okay, I just have a couple things. One is on Brookside. Last week, we had a meeting at Brookside. Census is improving, and as of 8/7/25, we were up to 118 people. Willowbrook is full, and we have 7 on the waiting list. So really, things are getting a lot better. Staffing is full in Willowbrook and is adequate for what we have over at Brookside right now, and hopefully we're looking to open another wing fairly soon. Just as a reminder, August 23rd is the annual picnic at Brookside. Please come and show your support if you can. Also, another reminder that on August 31st, we're having the CIP budget meeting, and this year we're going to have it, well, this is the first year that we're having one, and it's going to be over in the Southport Meeting Room at Brookside. So please make it if you can. Supervisor reports. Any supervisor's comments? Any supervisor comments? Supervisor Berg.
I just want to remind everybody that on Thursday at the Kenosha County Center at 6 p.m., again, August 17th, not Thursday, we will be having another Racial and Ethnic Equity Commission. That's at 6 p.m. And there are about 4 discussions and a recommendation to be voted upon at this meeting. So if you can make it, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Stuck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just like to report on our last Human Services Committee meeting. Our committee, several committee members asked for an update on the opioid efforts of Kenosha County, as well as an update on the opioid settlement funds. A couple of highlights from that: our county is, the health department is very active in community education and outreach events. They've been at a lot of pop-up booths at a lot of our events throughout the county, doing Narcan training, handing out materials, information, and that has been is continually ongoing. I also received an update on the ongoing SAMHSA grant. Part of that is the Narcan training that is being done. The health department's goal initially was to train 700 people per year. In the year 1, we trained 1,323 people, and in year 2, we trained 1,676 people on Narcan. Recently, I believe it was in a 1-week period, we had reported 8 Narcan reversals, which was very good to hear, where the Narcan was administered and reversed the effects of the drug. Early on, we were not getting many reports from Narcan. We were putting it out there, but we weren't sure if it was actually working, if people were using it, because the self-reporting really wasn't happening. But due to partnering with the Kenosha Police Department, they are now sending us their numbers every time Narcan is administered. They are reporting reporting those numbers with the health department, and we're getting to see a better idea of the Narcan being used. Another resource that was launched by the health department, if you Google Kenosha County Behavioral Health Services, we have a resource guide that's online on a PDF. They also have print versions of it as well that they are handing out at events. But it's a really great resource. It's full of information, crisis hotline numbers, and it's just chock full of information and resources of where to go if you need help in Kenosha County. I encourage anyone to go online and check that out, as well as pick up a print copy over at the Job Center if you would like that. On the opioid settlement funds, to date for 2022, we received about $1.8 million in opioid settlement funds, with an additional $375,000 expected in 2023. So far with that money, based off of the panel's recommendations, the county board recently approved a community prevention specialist, which will be working with local schools to educate our students on drug use and the effects of that. The position was just filled on July 30th, and they're hopeful to be able to be working in the schools in this upcoming school year. And then we also funded treatment training to hire additional peer support specialists. So the county was able to purchase training that will enable us to bring on additional peer support specialists, which are very helpful with recovery efforts from the county. There are also two appointments that will be before us today on the agenda, and I will cover those when they come. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Nordigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Quick reminder, tomorrow the Kenosha County Fair begins and lasts through Sunday. It's a great family time, and it's going to be hot, but hopefully everyone who has the time can get out there and enjoy at least a day at the fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Bashaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two committees and actually three subjects that I'll touch base with very quickly this evening. The first is regarding Paris Solar, which I stay in contact with regarding the status of the project there. Paris Solar project is being absorbed by We Energies over time, and there will be some other interesting news coming from them regarding the future state of that project as they go forward. However, the big update for, I think, the committee or the board to be aware of is that installation of the solar panels, the solar arrays themselves, continues to be delayed. They're having difficulty getting them into the United States through customs, et cetera. So until they are able to achieve delivery of those panels, there are no panels being put in, which means we've decommissioned our only power plant in the county, and we now have one that is no longer still not active. So we're waiting for that to happen. The time frame they estimate, while the hope is late fall, likelihood is more like spring. So Paris Solar is still an ongoing project. We'll switch then to judiciary and law. The Judiciary and Law this last week, we did have our first presentation. District Attorney Gravely, along with Deputy DA Carly McNeil, came and presented on activities in the DA's office, which we found to be very interesting. One is project permanency. Project permanency was associated with reducing the number of children who were sitting in limbo waiting for either placement in homes or recovery in their existing home, their primary home residence. So the DA's office had been budgeted through the county additional funds to address the deficit, big glut, I should say, that was there, not a deficit of manpower, but a big glut of children that needed to be addressed. They were operating at approximately 2 times normal rate. They have successfully resolved that and are back onto a normalized pathway. Additionally, we were given an update regarding the Jensen trial. As you will recall, this board budgeted an additional $70,000 in anticipation of the costs associated with the trial. The actual cost was approximately $40,000, so the DA's office was able to perform very well. Also, the Anderson trial, which was another major trial here in the county, which was anticipated to be quite costly, cost the county nothing, while the defense indicated that it cost them $400,000. Both resulted in guilty verdicts, and I congratulate DA Gravely and the team for that. Additionally, the state has funded permanently through state funds for the 2 additional district attorneys that were allocated to the county. So we'll continue to enjoy that opportunity. We have also increased a head count as of last year's budget to support that. So we continue in good form there. Short-term support positions converting to permanent. So the DA's office gave us an interesting update. They've been doing a very good job of reducing the backlog and fighting to stay in front of it. So I appreciate that from them. Our next Judiciary and Law Committee, we will be hearing from the Sheriff's Department regarding the DARE program and some other activities, and I'm hopeful that Captain Klinkhammer will join us as well there, as we have some output data specific to Country Thunder, and it's very rich data, very interesting, and I'm sure we'll enjoy having the opportunity to speak to them directly. The other is the Kenosha County Broadband Advisory Committee. The advisory committee has been tasked with helping to identify and then give recommendations to the county executive regarding opportunities to accelerate the installation of broadband throughout the county. One area that we had this week, we had Spectrum Charter give us presentations. So the chair of Christy Flynn, Time Warner, Charter and Time Warner for 20-some years, she's not chair, sorry, Terry Hatchell and Adam Raschke gave an exceptional presentation about their current status, ongoing opportunities for grants that they're pursuing, and how we might be able to help influence those grants. One area that all of us should be able to influence dramatically is to get involved through the speed test. When you're at home, take the broadband speed test. It really is critical information. We're roughly 12%. We need to be 12 or 10. We need to be 12% of our residents that have taken the speed test. But the data set from that speed test is critical to the state building out the maps to identify where resources will be allocated as we continue forward with grants. So, as you know, the Vice President was here. There's another $1 billion being dumped into this project nationally, and we are hopeful to gain a good portion of it here in our area. One thing you will note if you were at the broadband meeting or if you go online and look, we have a massive area of the county that includes both Brighton and Paris that are essentially gray on the map, meaning they are not at the federal mandated standard. In fact, none of them are. I can attest to my house, we operate at dial-up speed, so it's not a very good situation. Paris has addressed it through an independent contract, and hopefully we'll have more work coming. So the Broadband Commission did give a recommendation to the county executive that she identify a strategy to assign a head count as a primary resource toward the broadband initiative to give attention to this. As we know, when you have somebody that can cheerlead or be an owner of something, they will continue putting a lot more effort to it than a committee that meets on a periodic basis. So, again, I encourage you to take the speed test, encourage others to do so. We'll be working on that at the fair and in other places, and keep getting the word out. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other supervisor comments? Any other supervisor comments? Any other supervisor comments? Seeing none, supervisor comments are closed.
County Executive Appointments, 21, Jeffrey Wamble to serve on the Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency Board.
Refer to Human Services Committee.
Resolution 43 from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of Daniel Gashke to serve on the Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency. This passed unanimously at committee. Supervisor Nedweski excused.
Supervisor Stark.
Move item 43.
Moved by Supervisor Stark, second by Supervisor Starker. Supervisor Stark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an executive appointment to appoint Daniel Gashke, Supervisor Gashke, to the Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency. Before I get too far, I will need to offer an amendment to make a correction on the county executive appointment letter that was given with the resolution. It states that the confirmation will continue until the 30th of September 2025. The resolution that we signed in committee states that the appointment will continue until the 30th of September 2028. So I need to make a motion to amend the resolution that we signed to read the appointment shall be effective immediately and continue until the 30th day of September 2025 in order to fix this error.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Supervisor Uas. Any discussion? Okay.
25 or 28?
25. On the resolution, it was a clerical error. It was put 2028. It should have been 2025.
Thank you.
Welcome. Any other comments? Anybody else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Okay. Supervisor Stuck, please go
Thank you.
ahead.
And then Supervisor Gashke is obviously here. The resolution did pass unanimously in committee, and I would encourage the board to support his nomination this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments? Any supervisor comments? All in favor with the amendment? Say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes.
Resolution 44 from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of Carrie Foss as Director of Aging, Disability, and Behavioral Health Services. This passed unanimously at committee. Supervisor Nedweski excused.
Supervisor Stuck.
Move item number 44.
Moved by Supervisor Stuck, second by Supervisor Gersten. Supervisor Stuck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is another appointment from the county executive for Carrie Foss to serve as the director of the Kenosha County Division of Aging, Disability, and Behavioral Health Services. She is here this evening if anyone has any questions. Her appointment did pass unanimously, and I would encourage the board to support this resolution. Thank you.
Any supervisor comments? Any supervisor comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes.
Resolution 45 from the Judiciary and Law Committee, a resolution approving a regular cabaret license for Lily Lake Enterprises, LLC, doing business as Lily Lake Resort. This passed unanimously at committee. Supervisors Belsky and Nordigan excused.
Supervisor Besha.
Lily Lake, right?
Supervisor Besha.
Sorry, Chairman. I'll move resolution number 45, cabaret
Moved by
license for
Supervisor
Lily.
Besha, second by Supervisor Rodriguez. Supervisor Besha.
The Lily Lake cabaret license has been a temporary license in the past. Lily Lake has been a positive performer and done very well. They have come back now and asked that we make it a permanent license, allowing them to continue their activities. Captain Klinkhammer presented and is here this evening if there are any questions.
Any supervisor comments? Supervisor Berg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to Supervisor Bashaw, when I guess vetting the individuals for this cabaret license, was the background ever looked on Mr. Hall on his two misdemeanor charges from 2018 and 19 with possession of drug paraphernalia and resisting or obstructing an officer? Was that brought up at all or discussed?
It was not brought up, and as I am aware, Mr. Hall is not on the license at this point. Captain Klinkhammer, am I correct?
Can you come to the microphone, please, Captain?
He is not on the license.
Yeah, to my best of my recollection, a year ago, Jill, how do you say it? Rizplinski became the sole owner and proprietor of. So the license is under her name only.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I know in the past we've had folks come forward, whether it be for boards, commissions, committees, licenses, whatever it be. I know we haven't properly vetted many times in the past. I just want to make sure that we continue to do that. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other supervisors? Any other supervisor? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes.
Resolution 46 from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee and Finance Administration Committees, a resolution in support of intergovernmental agreement between Kenosha County and the Town of Paris to provide law enforcement services. This passed unanimously at both committees. Supervisor Belsky, Nordigan, Poole, and Grady excused.
Supervisor Besha.
Mr. Chairman, at committee, we combined these into,
Can you move the resolution?
I can move the
first, please?
resolution. Resolution 46, move it.
Moved by Supervisor Besha, second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Besha.
Mr. Chairman, at committee, we took 46, 47, and 48 as a whole, and that they are the same resolution. They are simply identified with individual communities, Paris, Randall, and Wheatland, for their purposes. These are resolutions that are formed as a collaboration agreement between the County Sheriff's Department and these communities to provide, I'll call it animal control services, as an additional extension of our ongoing activities within these communities. So it's a contract between the county and
these communities for animal control services. And Captain Member is here and answer any questions that you might have.
There any objection to all of them together? As there's a motion for it. Make a motion to combine 46, 47, 47. The second, moved by Supervisor Byrd, second by Supervisor Rodriguez. Okay.
Okay. Resolution 46. Okay. Resolution 46 from Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee and Finance Administration Committees, a resolution to support of intergovernmental agreement between Kenosha County and the Town of Paris to provide law enforcement services. Resolution 47 from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement and Finance Administration Committees, a resolution in support of intergovernmental agreement between Kenosha County and the Town of Randall to provide law enforcement services. Resolution 48 from Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee and Finance Administration Committees, a resolution in support of an intergovernmental agreement, Kenosha County and the Town of Wheatland to provide law enforcement services. These all passed unanimously at both committees with Supervisors Belsky, Morgan, Poole, and Grady excused.
Okay, now this is the motion to Supervisor Bishop.
Motion to approve these three resolutions or pass the whole, further motion from Supervisor.
Okay, so we move to approve that by Supervisor Bishop. Should we put them together?
Yeah, I moved 47. It was then motion that we put them all together. You need to take a vote on that.
So that is the supervisor. Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, now the motion to approve the three resolutions.
Motion to
Executive Supervisor Rose, any discussion on that? Already talked Supervisor Bashir, you want to add anything else?
any other advice again, were there any questions to it? Some folks had questions and they saw there was a nice article in the paper about it, so I'm sure we'll want to.
Okay, Supervisor Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to add, in case this comes up later, the Sheriff's Department did tell Judiciary and Law that the additional equipment needed to conduct these services has already been purchased, and anything that needs to be purchased in the future will be, that financial burden will be on the parts of each individual town, as well as they do have to be identified who's trained and well-versed in dealing with wildlife and animals to get this done. And lastly, we did receive a promise from the Mayor that the first time one of our deputies is trained with adults, he will forward the. That's
Okay, any other Any other sacrifice? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 49 from the Finance and Administration Committee, a resolution authorizing and providing for the sale and issuance of not to exceed $15,870,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2023A, and all related details. The resolution was amended in committee.
I would move the resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Rhodes, seconded by Supervisor Pearson, Supervisor Rhodes.
The resolution actually that you're voting on provides for the authorization and sale and issuance of $15,870,000 of notes. It was reported to us by the dealer's representative that there was a good deal of interest in these notes. There were 11 bids, which is more than usual. The winning bid is from a group called Huntington Securities, Chicago, Illinois. The rate is 3.2054%. That was the low bid, and if you look at the brochure that was distributed by dealers, you will see all of the bids and all of the bidders there. I think it's well to note that Standard & Poor's, who rated the county's notes, AAA, indicated in their outlook that Kenosha County has a very strong management and a growing economic base. As we'll attribute to the county, and it supports the AAA rate.
Any supervisor comments? Any supervisor comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Roll call. Need a roll call.
What happened? Joe's not grabbing the roll call. Really?
Aye. You hear me now? Very.
Resolution 49 passes unanimously. Communications, 56. Communications from Andy M. Mueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning Development Extension Education. Claims, 7. Jose Hernandez, personal injury. The approval of the August 1st, 2023 minutes by Supervisor Franco.
I move to approve the minutes from August 1st, 2023. Moved by Supervisor Franco, seconded by Supervisor Janice. Any comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moved by Salmon, I believe, Supervisor Rodriguez, seconded by Supervisor.
That's so weird. Something happened when it goes down. We're not going to stress it.